In the dead of winter, as snow blankets the nation's capital and the city sleeps, a legal earthquake has rocked America to its very core. This shockwave didn't come from Congress or the White House, but from the courts, those hallowed halls where the Constitution is interpreted and the fate of our rights is decided. In a stunning turn of events, a series of landmark rulings have rewritten a century of American gun law overnight, upending the legal landscape in ways few thought possible. The rules have changed dramatically, and the federal government's power to disarm citizens has been dealt a blow so severe, it may never fully recover. This is not a minor tweak or a subtle shift. It's a full-scale legal revolution, a stunning reversal of decades of policy and precedent. The headlines will be shocking, the media will panic, scrambling to make sense of the new reality and what it means for the country. Politicians who built entire careers on gun control are now scrambling. Their talking points suddenly obsolete, their strategies in disarray. But what is this really? It's not chaos. It's a restoration, a return to the original meaning of the Constitution, which recognizes rights you were born with, not privileges granted by the state. The courts have finally affirmed in no uncertain terms that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Words that echo through history and now carry new weight. That phrase now has teeth, an ironclad command every level of government must obey with no room for creative interpretation or bureaucratic loopholes. This is happening right now, January 7th, 2026, a date that will be remembered as a turning point in American legal history. The legal landscape has been fundamentally altered, with old precedents swept aside and new standards set for generations to come. For years, our rights were eroded by countless small restrictions, each one chipping away at the freedoms the founders intended to protect. That web of laws, built up over decades, has just been torn to shreds, leaving behind a cleaner, clearer path for individual liberty. The rulings have established a new, powerful standard for all gun laws, past, present, and future, forcing lawmakers to rethink everything they thought they knew. The era of treating the Second Amendment as a second-class right is over. The balance of power has shifted, and the people's voice is being heard. Now, the burden is on the government to prove why you shouldn't own a firearm, not on you to justify why you should. The presumption of liberty has returned. This is the story they don't want you to understand. The story behind the headlines, the real meaning of this legal revolution. Buckle up, we're about to walk you through the 10 monumental changes that have stunned America, and explain why this moment will echo for generations. For decades, courts let the government sidestep the Second Amendment with legal tricks and balancing tests. They claimed public safety trumped your rights, upholding laws the founders would have found unthinkable. But that era is over. The new rulings have thrown out those weak standards and replaced them with strict scrutiny, the highest legal test. Now, any law restricting gun ownership is presumed unconstitutional. The government must prove a law is necessary for a compelling interest and is narrowly tailored, like the burden of proof has flipped. The government, not you, must justify restrictions. They must show historical evidence from the founders' era to support any law. If they can't, the law is struck down. Period. This ends the tactic of inventing new restrictions for modern problems. The same protection given to free speech now applies to gun rights. Thousands of local, state, and federal gun laws are now unenforceable. The legal foundation of gun control has crumbled. Lawmakers must now start from the text and history of the Constitution itself. What are these changes, and how do they impact the everyday lives of millions of Americans? Here are the 10 major reversals that have created a brand new reality for American gun owners, fundamentally reshaping the landscape of Second Amendment rights. First, the double standard for law enforcement is gone. Police can no longer possess weapons or accessories that are denied to ordinary citizens. The playing field is now level, ensuring equal rights for all under the law. Second, red flag laws have been gutted. No more secret hearings or property seizures without full due process. Every citizen is now guaranteed their day in court before any action is taken. Third, all gun registries are now unconstitutional. Existing lists must be destroyed, and any form of warrantless surveillance is strictly illegal. Privacy for gun owners is fully restored. Fourth, May issue permitting is dead. If you pass a background check, you are guaranteed your permit, with low uniform fees, nationwide. No more arbitrary denials or excessive costs. Fifth, all restrictions on ammunition sales and quantity have been struck down, including bans on online sales and background checks for ammo. Americans can now freely purchase the ammunition they need, in any quantity, from any source. Sixth, gun dealers are protected from political harassment. ATF's zero-tolerance policy is gone, and due process is now guaranteed for all dealers. No more fear of arbitrary shutdowns or punitive actions. 7th, the ATF's ban on stabilizing braces is reversed. Bureaucrats can no longer rewrite the law at will. Accessories that help responsible gun owners, including disabled veterans, are fully protected. 8th, suppressors are now a constitutional right. NFA taxes and registration requirements are gone. Safer, quieter shooting is accessible to everyone. 9th, the definition of firearm is clarified, protecting gun parts and build kits from arbitrary bans. Hobbyists and builders can now work without fear of sudden legal changes. 10th, law enforcement can now be held personally and financially liable for violating your Second Amendment rights. Accountability is finally real. These are not just policy suggestions, they are now the law of the land, enforced in every state and territory. This is the greatest expansion and restoration of gun rights in American history, a moment that will be remembered for generations, and it all happened while politicians were sleeping. The landscape has changed permanently, and the future of gun rights is more secure than ever. Let's break down what this means for you, your family, and the next generation of Americans. For years, politicians banned firearms for civilians but exempted law enforcement, creating a privileged class. That hypocrisy is over. The courts ruled the Second Amendment is a right of the people, not a government privilege. If a weapon is legal for police, it must be legal for law-abiding citizens. Bans on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines are now void unless they apply to everyone, including police. No state will disarm its own police, so these bans are effectively dead. The era of armed government agents ruling over a disarmed public is finished. Officers and agencies can now be sued directly for violating your rights. This isn't anti-police, it's pro-Constitution. Law enforcement must now respect the rights of the citizens they serve. Red flag laws once allowed secret hearings and gun seizures without due process. That's over. The courts now require a full adversarial hearing before your property can be taken. You have the right to be present, have a lawyer, see the evidence, and cross-examine accusers. The burden of proof is now on the state. Clear and convincing evidence for temporary seizures, and beyond a reasonable doubt for long-term bans. No more presuming guilt based on accusations. This prevents abuse and political harassment. Truly dangerous people can still be disarmed, but only through a fair, transparent process. Your rights are protected by the same due process as any other fundamental liberty. The days of secret hearings and easy confiscation are gone. The courts have struck down all government gun registries, federal and state, as unconstitutional. The right to keep and bear arms includes the right to do so privately. No more government lists tracking who owns what. All registries must be destroyed. Handgun rosters, assault weapon lists, everything. Warrantless surveillance of gun owners is now illegal. Your legal purchases are your private business. This ruling makes mass confiscation schemes virtually impossible. The right to keep and bear arms is now a practical reality, not just a theory. The may-issue permit system is dead. No more subjective denials. All 50 states must now issue permits to anyone who meets objective criteria. No more waiting years or paying exorbitant fees. Permits must be processed quickly, with low uniform costs. The right to carry for self-defense is now a right for all, not a privilege for the connected. Millions who were denied permits can now protect themselves and their families. Your right to self-defense no longer depends on your zip code. Equality under the law has been restored. Gun control advocates tried to restrict ammunition instead of guns, banning online sales, requiring background checks, and limiting quantities. The courts have dismantled these schemes. The right to bear arms includes the right to acquire ammunition. All bans on online sales and direct shipment are gone. No more background checks or limits on how much you can buy. The market is open. Lower prices, more convenience. The same logic now protects suppressors and stabilizing braces. Suppressors are recognized as safety devices, not sinister tools. The ATF's overreach on stabilizing braces is gone. Only Congress can make such laws. Freedom means being able to use your firearms safely and effectively. January 7, 2026, a pivotal moment in American history. On this day, the nation awoke to a new reality, one that will echo for generations to come. The Second Amendment's legal landscape has been redrawn, reshaping the very foundation of our rights and responsibilities as citizens. These 10 changes are a seismic shift in the balance of power, sending shockwaves through the legal and political systems across the country. The era of government chipping away at your rights is over. For the first time in decades, the tide has turned in favor of individual liberty. The presumption of guilt for gun owners is gone. Liberty is now the default. Law-abiding citizens can once again exercise their rights without fear of undue suspicion. The burden is on the government to justify any restriction. Every new law or regulation must now withstand the highest scrutiny. There will be resistance. Politicians and media will spread fear and misinformation. Expect heated debates and attempts to sway public opinion. But these rulings restore rights to law-abiding citizens, not criminals. Know your rights, understand these changes, and help others do the same. The laws in your state may now be unconstitutional and unenforceable. This is a time of transition, and clarity will be essential. Stay informed, vigilant, and ready to defend your restored rights. Talk to your community, and keep up with the latest developments. This is a new dawn for freedom, but vigilance is still required. Rights can be lost as quickly as they are won. These victories were hard-won by patriots who refused to back down. Their courage and determination paved the way for this moment. The fight to protect these rights begins now. Share this information with friends, family, and neighbors. Support those defending the Constitution. Join organizations, volunteer, or contribute in any way you can. The future of the Second Amendment is back in the hands of the people. It's up to us to safeguard it for future generations. Let's make sure it stays there. Stand together, stay informed, and never take your rights for granted.